So today we're actually shooting a wedding, but I'm not. Last week I made a video talking about what I brought for a photo wedding, like a wedding that I'm shooting that's for photo. But today I'm shooting a video wedding, and some of the gear's the same, a lot of the gear isn't, and I have to pack it up anyway. So I figured right now I might as well make a video talking to you about this. Yeah, so I'm doing that right now. For this wedding, I have to bring 2 cameras instead of 1. So because of that, I'm going to take this backpack right here. In addition to the backpack, I'm going to take this Pelican. And it's mostly just because I'd rather have more space than not enough. And that's really the only difference. So for starters, I am going to pack my the most important things first, and then go down the list of the less important kind of things. First thing is going to be cameras. Now first and foremost is the Sony a7S III, which I'm currently shooting on, so obviously that's not going to be packed down. But instead of the 12-24 that I'm currently using on it, I'm going to try our 16-35, mostly just because 30 it gives the difference between 24 and 35 is a big difference when you're making videos, and well, we want stuff to be a little closer. Ideally, we want to eventually get a 24-70, but those are expensive, and we're making do with what we have right now, especially because we just found out how much we have to pay in taxes, and that's we're making do with what we have right now. So first thing is first. I think I can fit this right here. First thing is first, I'm going to pack the Sony stuff first, and then I will pack the B-Cam, which is our Canon stuff after that. And typically what I'll do is I'll put my A camera stuff in here, and then I'll put the B camera stuff in the Pelican, mostly because we have a second shooter, and it's just easier I like to work to where I have my own bag, and then they have their own bag that they can go and grab stuff. It cleans up the whole transaction, and it's just a lot easier to work, in my opinion. So all that to be said, I'm packing two different bags is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I don't need this camera strap. This bag is actually packed from the photo wedding that I shot a couple of last week. So I'm having to unpack to repack. So I need this. I don't need the strap for the camera. All right, so everything in the bag right now as is, I'm keeping. To kind of go over it just briefly, I have this little aperture light that this lives in here. You never know when you need light, especially for exits. So I always keep this guy because it's really easy to hold up. I also have NAN lights that are currently lighting the studio right now, or this closet right now. Those are going to go in this Pelican after I'm done shooting this portion. I like to have at least 3 lights with me. That way, if I'm in a bad lighting situation with between the Sony with the really good low light performance and the lights, I pretty much can light anything without having to carry these gigantic lights that are in this Pelican, along with the light stands. Those are more stylistic choices than anything else. And if I don't have to carry more lights, then that's a good thing. All that to be said, lights are good. The only other thing that's left in here is this Peak Design little camera strap. I'll keep it in here just because sometimes your hands get tired, and it's nice to just let this kind of do the work for you. And other than that, I'm starting fresh. So putting the 16-35 in there. Next thing to go in is going to be drone stuff, and that's actually in this bag right here that I'm going to take the stuff out. So for drone stuff, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to take the drone and the controller with some extra batteries. And while I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I have the SD card. If I didn't, there's a backup internal storage in here. But I've used that before, but if I don't have to, I don't want to. In addition to the drone, I actually also have some ND filters in here. And honestly, I just leave the lowest setting ND filter on the drone, And then it comes with like these three. This one came with the drone. It's not an ND filter, and then they have two NDs that go further than the one that's currently on there. But for Tennessee and the sun that we deal with, that works perfectly for me. The next thing is going to be obviously drone batteries, and that's pretty much everything for the drone. It's pretty simple, and that's all going to live on this side of the bag, just so that I can like easily grab it. The next thing is going to be batteries and memory cards for this camera. So I have this little pouch right here. This has 2 batteries in it, so that is going in there. And then in addition to that, I'm bringing the charger, and there's a battery on the charger already. I typically don't really charge stuff at weddings, but I like to have the charger just in case, because I don't want to be that guy. Because I mean, if your batteries are dead and you don't have a way to charge them, then you're pretty much done shooting for the day, whether you like it or not. The second battery I keep up here, just because I like to have at least one battery that's easily accessible. That way, if something does die quickly, then I can just grab it real quick and get back into shooting mode. That's pretty much it for the Sony camera. Now I'm moving on to a bunch of like miscellaneous kind of stuff. So I'm bringing this guy just because, well, I want to include some footage of me shooting the day, and this guy's just super easy and super out of the way, and I don't have to think about it too much while still getting footage for this video and shooting for another video. So that's going in here on top of the batteries and SD cards. And I think that's it for camera gear for this bag. Now it's going to be microphones, and I'm just using the Tascam DR10Ls, which actually are out here. I talked about them yesterday a little bit. They're great little microphone or lav mics. I do need to get some extra batteries. Actually, no, I have some extra batteries for this guy in here already, so I don't have to pack that down. And they're just going in here like so. All right, I got those microphones. When I'm shooting, I like to have backup systems for backup systems. So I'll have 2 different cameras that I can use if one goes down. I'll have a couple of different lenses. Actually, that's a lie. I'm only taking 2 lenses for the Sony, and then 1 lens for the Canon. So it's going to be the 70-200 and the R6. But the same thing with audio. I like to have backup audio solutions. So I'll take this guy in addition to these microphones. And it's mostly just so that I can improve the audio from these cameras. Like this shotgun mic sounds better than the internal microphones on these cameras. And then for the Sony, I'll take my tried and true ECM B1M. Just so that if like a candid moment happens and I don't have these mics on like the people, this can still capture the moments, and it helps me just be a little more spontaneous. So with that, I think everything aside from this camera is packed for this guy right here. So now I'm going to move on to this Pelican, and I'm going to try to do this without knocking you over and everything else. Let's see. Okay. Have to take this off for a second. Okay. So in here, this is just a bunch of random stuff. Gaff tape and a little small rig multi-tool for obvious reasons. I have a couple of ND filters for this the Canon, the 70-200. The ceremony today is going to be inside, so I don't know if I'm actually going to use it. Okay, so everything is pretty much bare bones here, so now I can start packing this. Obviously, I'm bringing this microphone for the Canon. Again, for what I just had mentioned, I like to have a better audio option if I happen to capture something or they do something that's like too fast for me to mic them up. So 70-200's going right here. This Canon R6 is going right next to him with a little conversion EF to RF mount. Oh, I almost forgot, for this bag I'm also bringing this little It's like a little shopping bag thing. I talked about it in yesterday's video. If you're interested in what I use this for, just go to yesterday's video and check it out. Okay, I think that's honestly it for this. I'm still putting, I let Savannah, since Savannah's shooting with the Canon as well, I let her have all of the batteries for the Canon. That way they're all centrally located and we're not splitting them up. And then I'll have all the batteries for the Sony. Again, it just prevents us from losing things and everything else. I'm taking the second aperture light in here. Don't think I'll need it, but again, I'd rather be safe than sorry with light. Especially with this camera, because this camera doesn't perform nearly as well in low light as the Sony. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing is going to be power bag. So we have a bag specifically for power. So this is just filled with a bunch of extension cords, power strips, just because you never actually know what you're getting yourself into when you're shooting weddings. There are some places where they have just one outlet for you, and you have to charge more than one thing. So we take this and leave it in the car as a just in case, and that comes in handy more than you would think. And then as for stands that we're going to use, they're going to be up here. This is just a big Manfrotto stand that we use for the back of the room. Yeah, it's just a big ass tripod that holds the back angle for us. And then I use this guy, which is just a monopod. I actually don't use a gimbal anymore. I found that the gimbal is just, I don't know, we were just having too many issues with the gimbal, so I would prefer to just have a it's just straightforward monopod to keep it super simple. And it has a fluid head on it, so it still looks good, and I'm not killing my back or my arms all day long. This is mostly for ceremony. One thing that I did forget to mention, we're using 3 cameras today. So the camera that's going to go on that guy over there is our we have a little Canon EOS R, and we just slap either the 70-200 on it, or we have it's an 80 mil. That works for it. It's just a safety angle, so I'm not too concerned about it. Most of the video that we'll pull is going to be from my camera and my second shooter's camera, so that's just literally a just in case that we can pull from. Because if you ever shot a wedding, the back angle literally on the most important parts when they kiss, and typically people stand up, so the back angle is almost always useless anyway. So we don't put too much emphasis on the back angle, but we still obviously want to have one as a safety. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. If anything changes, I'll let you know, but I think that's good. I like to keep it super simple for obvious reasons, and I think you can see in my setup, I'd rather be more nimble and be able to capture authentic moments and capture moments that aren't really scripted, and for me, this enables me to be able to do that. I'll shoot most of the wedding today either on that monopod or handheld, and between the active stabilization and just having good discipline with keeping the camera stable, I never really find myself needing a gimbal to help fix any problems that I can't fix with my own ability. Yeah, okay.